Well, you know what? Let's ask Blake Harris, our Dodger insider, because that's why we bring him on, to ask him ridiculous questions and eventually talk about the Dodgers. Blake, would you put edible tape on your burrito to hold your burrito in place so it doesn't fall apart?
That's not an awful idea. I mean, I think I would. I'm all open to trying new things. So sign me up. Count me in for this wild adventure.
Yeah, I mean, haven't you guys ever had sushi that's without rice and it's wrapped in some kind of a paper? I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I'll eat it because there's no rice. It's good. I like it. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, Blake, before we get into what a difference a week makes with the Dodgers from the last time when we spoke to you, I'm more interested on this Juan Soto rumor because it looks like Juan Soto, who's arguably the best player in the sport right now, could be on the trade market. And I know you wrote about this in your Substack, and tell people what you think about the Juan Soto situation and a potential link to the Dodgers. And, of course, let them know where they can find it.
Yeah, so I wrote about that today on my Substack. You can find that at blakeharris.substack.com. But there was an article yesterday in ESPN about Juan Soto and the Nationals potentially being willing to trade him as soon as this summer. I mean, this is arguably one of the best hitters in all of baseball. And he's not going to be a free agent until the 2024 season's up. And the Nationals have pretty much already said, listen, we're not going to be able to afford this guy. And if you're not going to be able to afford him, well, you might as well start listening to trade offers and, hear what teams have to say. Now, again, this was, I think, some executive from another team that said they should trade. So I'm not how much truth there is to the rumor. Apparently, the agent today, Scott Boras, came out and said, oh, we're not going to trade him. But last I checked, the agent isn't the one that's making the trades for the team. So if the Nationals, do open sale in regards to Juan Soto, the Dodgers definitely would make a lot of sense. Juan Soto, he's played left field in the past. He could slide right into left field because I don't think the Mookie Betts is going to give over right field. And the Dodgers have a plethora of prospects that the Nationals could potentially want. We saw them even last year make a deal for Trey Turner, Max Scherzer. So the two sides have already negotiated deals in the past. Again, I'm not certain, how willing the Nationals would be, but you definitely would have to think they'd be willing to consider, again, if you're going to lose him for nothing in a year or two, you might as well try to get a plethora of prospects in return. And again, the Dodgers, in addition to be able to trade for him, I think they can open up the checkbooks and give him $400 million or however much he's going to want when he's a free agent in a couple of years.
Balake, the use of plethora twice in the same answer is really high-level work, man. Nice job. You mentioned Trey Turner.
That's my Arizona State degree right there.
Nice work. Walter Cronkite School, I'm sure. Hey, you mentioned Trey Turner. It had me thinking. Last year when the Dodgers traded for Trey Turner, most of us were putting two and two together and saying, well, he'll eventually be the shortstop. They'll let Corey Seager go. You think now, watching what you've seen out of Trey Turner in 37 games in so far this season, you think they've upgraded the position with Trey Turner?
It's a tough one because, Corey Seager is, one of the top shortstops in all of baseball, but you're getting one in Trey Turner that was an MVP candidate last season. I think finished top 3 or 4 in MVP voting. Defensively, he hasn't been quite on par this season. So defensively, I don't know if he's been much of an upgrade over Seager, but Trey Turner, I mean, his ability to reach base, to steal bases, to hit for power, to hit for contact, I do think, all around, I think he's a much better shortstop than Corey Seager is. Again, when healthy, I do think he's a top 2 or top 3 option. He's gotten off to a slow start this season, but the crazy thing is, you see a bunch of these guys, we talked about Mookie Betts a couple weeks ago. These guys that we've come to expect to be like MVP caliber players, even by their standards, a slow season, he's still much above league average. He's still going to be, in consideration to be in the All-Star game this year. So he really gave the Dodgers a taste of what he can do last year when he was with them for 2 months. I think he was hitting like 370. Hasn't quite been up to standards yet so far this year, but I still think, again, this is a guy that easily is the top 2, top 3 shortstop in all of baseball when he's going.
Blake, last one for me. And, they've got a 5-game winning streak going on right now. And look, I get they just swept the Diamondbacks, who, look, they're a nice young team, but we know they're not a very good team. Outside of it just being that, what are things that you've seen more recently in this streak that have encouraged you?
Yeah, I mean, they had that weird 4-game losing streak last week, and it was nearly a 5-game losing streak. And the reason they were losing those games wasn't because of the offense. I mean, they were scoring 7, 8, 9 runs a game. It was their pitching that was the reason they were losing, which made no sense because through the first month and a half, they had, the best 35-game start to the season in more than 40 years by any pitching staff. And during that losing streak, the starters, the bullpen, they completely fell apart. So yeah, I'm not going to say it's a coincidence that all of a sudden the pitching's been fantastic while they're winning, but I do think that's playing a factor. So I think it was just 4 to 5 games of just everything just collapsing at once. But the Dodgers pitching, we've talked about this in previous shows, bullpen-wise, starter-wise, they're some of the best in baseball. So the offense, they're going to score 5 to 7 runs on a day-to-day basis. The only way the Dodgers lose is if they allow more than 3 or 4 runs, and that's what happened last week. So as long as the pitching's going solid, I think this Dodgers winning streak, especially now, going to Philadelphia, going to Washington, I think this winning streak could potentially reach double digits.
All right, hey, Blake, I'll make this one quick. We got to hustle up. Walker Buehler this week, though, says, I'm not right. What do you make of that situation?
Yeah, he hasn't looked like the Walker Buehler of old. His strikeout numbers are down, significantly. He's not getting swings and misses. His velocity's down a bit. I don't think there's been any sort of nagging injury that he's mentioned to start the season. So I know, again, a very short spring training. We're now at the middle of May, so I'm not exactly certain if you can still use that as an excuse. But again, like some of these guys we mentioned earlier, the fact that Walker Buehler is out here saying he's not right, his stuff is clearly not there. Last I checked, I think he's like 5-1 with a 2.9 ERA. So if Walker Buehler is not feeling his best and he's still putting up numbers like that, I'll take it. But yeah, his numbers have been a little down, a little bit concerning. But like I said, that might just be for the short spring training. He might not be fully ramped up, and I think he'll be good to go in a couple of months. But yeah, definitely a little interesting hearing him say that. I think it was the other day following the start, but I'm not too concerned as of this point. We'll see how he looks a few more starts from now.
Blake Harris is our Dodger insider, joins us every week, normally at 5:45 on Thursday, but because we got a short show today because of the Eastern Conference Finals, he's joining us at 5 o'clock here. Blake, where do people find your work? Tell the people.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Blake Harris, TBLA, and you guys can also find all my articles, including my nice in-depth one today on Juan Soto, BlakeHarris.substack.com.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, as always.
George,
have a good time, guys. Have a great weekend.
Wait, Blake, don't go anywhere. Are you still there?
Still here, yeah.
Hey, Cappy, have you subscribed to his Substack or no?
Have not. But what I was going to say is...
Why not?
I don't know. I haven't really used Substack very much, if I'm being honest.
I mean, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. Do I have to subscribe? Do I have to pay for it? Tell me.
Yeah, you got to pay for it. I paid for it. You should pay for it.
How much?
Yeah, it depends. If you want to do like a monthly, you want to do like a yearly, what kind of subscription you want to do?
I don't know. Hey, Blake, if I pay you directly, can you just give me like a password for
oh, my
Substack?
gosh, Cap.
What are you? What's wrong with you?
Well, I mean, I wanted to make the maximum amount of money.
I will say this, Cap. It is kind of difficult. Some people have had difficulty trying to figure out how to subscribe. So, yeah, if you want to shoot some Venmo my way, I'll hook you up with a nice,
What's your Venmo?
Nice yearly subscription.
Drop the Venmo. Drop the Venmo, Blake. What is it?
That's a good question. It's got Venmo at Blake H. Harris. Hit me up. I'll be texting you later tonight getting you. I'll get you
know my Venmo ID.
I'll get you the exclusive stuff.
There you go. All right, Blake. Thank you, buddy.
But it's funny. I was going to say, George, doesn't it sound cool on AM radio when you hear Substack.com? I mean, such new modern ways of communicating through media on old school AM radio. That's awesome. Way to go, Balake.
I pay for it. I gave his yearly subscription is $50, and I did it.
Okay, I'm going to do that too.
I bought it too. Support our guy Balake.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to do it also.
Yeah,
I'm just a classic procrastinator.
You are a classic procrastinator. Yeah, his stuff is very good. I mean, I've always told you it's great. It's why we have him on.
Yep.
And if you want to support his work, you should.
I do. In many ways.
Yeah. Well,
I do.
I mean, you can Venmo him, I guess.
Well, that's just it. Like, have you ever had a massage at a resort and the massage therapist only gets like 50% versus if the therapist comes to your house, he or she gets 100%. I want Balake to get 100%.
Right. Well, no, he gets 100% of the Substack.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll just pay for it on Substack then.
Yeah. You'll have to just figure it out.
Right.
That could take a year.
No, I could do it. I could do this. This I could do, George. I feel very confident.
You know what else?
Venmo him, Cap. Blake H. Harris.
Yeah, there you go.